Hello everyone, I'm Right.
Hello, I'm Labs. You know that a normal atom has the same number of electrons and protons. But is there any unusual atom?
I'm not usual.
Well, there is. In those atoms, numbers of electrons and protons are different. They're called ions. Today we'll talk about types of ions, how to name ions, how ions form, and how to predict what ions does the element form.
So, how are ions different? Well, some ions are non-metal ions, some are metal ions. This is the first way to classify ions. Another way to classify them is by their charges or valency. An ion's valency equals to the number of protons minus the number of electrons. An ion with a positive charge is called a cation, and an ion with a negative charge is an anion.
Is there anything between cation and a cat?
No. Usually, metals form cations, non-metals form anions. Maybe metals like cats. There's also a kind of ion called polyatomic ions, which is made up by two or more atoms, like sulfate ions. Well, I have a joke for you. Is onion, O-N-I-O-N, a kind of ion? Okay, let's go on.
Naming ions also have two ways. The first way is easier. If the element is a metal, just add ion after it. For example, this sodium ion.
Ooh.
If the element is a non-metal, add IDE. Yeah. Then add ion after it. For example, the chloride ion.
At first, I wrote this as chlorine ion.
Another way produces short names, but it is not as simple as the first one.
Ooh.
I think I will do this. First, write the element's chemical symbol. Then write its charge. The charge is 1 or -1. Write it as plus or minus. Otherwise, put a plus or minus sign before the number. For example, Na plus, Cl minus, Mg2 plus. Like this.
It's not Mg plus 2, and it's not Na1 plus or Cl1 minus, okay?
Yeah.
You know that neutral atoms are stable. So why would the atoms become ions? Well, ions need to be formed when chemical reaction happens. But how? For example, when some sodium atoms and some chlorine atoms meet, sodium started to give chlorine electrons. Hey, give me electrons! Each sodium give out 1 electron, so it has a +1 charge and becomes an Na plus ion. Each chlorine receives 1 electron, so it has a -1 charge and becomes a Cl minus ion.
Look at this.
At first, it's a sodium and a chlorine. They're neutral. And they become this. Na plus and Cl minus. And what will happen after this? We will tell you next time.
You know that electrons go around the nucleus like planets orbiting the sun. Those orbits are called electron shells. The electrons on the outermost shell are called valence electrons. The valency of an ion that an element will probably form depends on the number of valence electrons. Group 1 elements have 1 valence electrons. Group 2 has 2, and so on. Group 0 has 8 valence electrons, except helium, which just have 2.
So that's why the group 0 is also called the group 8.
The transition metals have 1 or 2 valence electrons. So I will tell you how to predict the ion which an element will form. Notice that this doesn't work for transition metals. They have various valency from -2, 0 to +2, +3, +5, +7, and even +9.
That's crazy!
That is how they are different from other metals. Anyways, group 1 to 4 elements are +1, +2, +3, and +4 ions, respectively. Group 5 to 7 form -3, -2, and -1 ions, respectively. Normally, group 0 elements, the no gases, don't form ions.
Give me electron, please.
Why? Go away.
Oh, maybe.
That's why they don't react, or they're difficult to react.
Yes, they don't react naturally. That's all for today. Next time we'll talk about covalent bonds and ionic bonds.
Fun!
See you next time. Don't forget to